Those who have been with me for a while remember my old incarnation here on YouTube, before YouTube obliterated my entire channel, which I'm still bitter about. Yes, I'm still bitter. I'm still angry. I'm still hateful, and I will always be because YouTube is absolutely worthless, and I'm only using them for my own benefit. That's why I say YouTube is my whore, and that's why my backup channel is even directly called YouTube is my whore. On my old channel, I had I eventually accumulated around 4,000 plus subscribers, which is not a huge number, but it's still around 4 times more than I have on my main channel now, and about 8 times more than I have on my backup channel now. So those people were, they were hard to get back. That they, once you just disappear, for a lot of people are just sort of like, well, I guess he's gone. They don't think to type in Andy Nowicki, and find me again. But it's just like, well, his videos aren't showing up anymore. I guess he's just gone, which is whatever. I'm not demanding everybody go out of your way to try to find me. That's up to you, of course. And if it's worth your while, if you think it's worth your while, then you'll do it. And if you don't, then you won't. And it would be silly for me to take that personally, one way or the other, because everybody has different things that they're interested in. But anyway, I remember back in my old incarnation here, when I was Andy Nowicki with a lowercase a and a lowercase n, my E.E. Cummings version of myself. I remember that I recorded a couple of videos where I said, I'm going to live in my car. I've decided I'm going to live in my car. That living in your car is the way to go. That's the way to go. That's the way to live. And I remember this engendered such like some people were okay with it. Some people were like, well, all right, whatever works for you, do your thing. But there were some people who were just so annoyed, and it's over. Of course, it's an overly used thing to say people were triggered, but some people were seriously triggered. Like, no, you shouldn't do that. You should strive to be successful. You should, no, nobody's going to take you seriously if you're just living out of your car. And it seems like at the heart of this whole thing, and I'm not living in my car right now. I've never lived in my car. And I don't really, and now it was striking me at the time as something that seemed like, had some appeal, in that you could, you just it just kept overhead low. But there are other considerations as well that one has to take into account. But in any case, I don't want to really go into all the pros and cons of living in your car right now. What I do want to say is I am still drawn to the notion of simple living, and call it bohemian. Call it living a bohemian lifestyle. That's still what I am drawn to right now, and maybe partly this is by necessity. I I'm canceled enough. I'm in that midpoint where I'm not so canceled that I'm infamous, right? I'm not so canceled that people generally know who I am, but I'm canceled enough where if I were ever to try to grab a prestige job anywhere, in our day and age your prospective employer will say, well, I mean, he'll interview you, and then he'll say, well, he seems very competent and everything. Let me just Google his name just for the fun of it and just see. Oh, oh my! Because the first thing, well, when you Google my name on Bing.com, the Microsoft website, the first thing that comes up is that stupid ADL article naming the hate, and I'm among the hate that gets named in that article that was written in 2017. For other venues that you go to, it's not as bad, but it's somewhere on that first page. It'll be on the first page. Maybe the fifth or sixth thing down. If you just type in my name, that'll be what comes up. Now, there might be some employers out there who would just say, "Screw the ADL. I'm going to hire him anyway." But let's face it, not likely. Even now, after you would think, the ADL has been unmasked for not being a trustworthy group. Still, I think that to the general normie out there, it's not going to be. I'm not going to get that job, even if they thought that I would be even if they were totally charmed by me and thought that I was perfect for the job. After they perused me on the internet, they would say, "Oh, well, we're not going to give him that job." Now I could go by a pseudonym or alias, but the point is, I guess the point, the question is, how badly do you want a prestige type job? I don't want it that badly. I could sort of take it or leave it. I don't think I ever really even had a prestige job. Even my highest paying job was not what you would call a prestige type job. So anyhow, the notion of bohemian living then occurs to one. And I would say that, I'm not here telling anyone how they should live, what they should do. Everybody needs to make up their own mind about that. What works best for you, to what extent you want to accentuate your ideas and on the internet and go by your real name in a censorious time such as the one we live in, where you come out against war against Ukraine, and if you're even semi-famous, then wow, it looks like this guy raped a bunch of women. How about that? That's just the way things are right now. And so there's something to be said for not being so much on the radar screen. And I'm both on and off the radar screen. I'm on it in the sense that, I'm sure there's a dossier with my name on it somewhere. But I'm off it in the sense that I'm not. People don't recognize me. People don't know who I am. People don't recognize my name. And they only see that I'm notorious by typing my name into a search engine. So there's something to be said for the broke boy lifestyle. I'm going to call it the broke boy lifestyle. And I'm going to write about this. I know I've threatened to write about it before. I think I've recorded a couple other videos before, and something else has gotten in the way. But I'm feeling it now, and I'm going to want to put this down. There needs to be a broke boy manifesto. There needs to be something written for men who don't want to be, who number one who are opting out of, the chasing success in the sense of trying to be a family man or whatever. Nothing against being a family man, nothing against getting married and having children and living a family life, but we all know right now the state that the current state of feminism, the current state of marriage. You find the right woman, then you're good. But how do you know you found the right woman? That can be an iffy proposition. And she might turn against you. She might seem ideal at first, but then when you're not making the big bucks, she might convince herself that you're a narcissist or whatever. and that she's completely right to cheat on you and whatever. It's not that women are more evil than men. It's just that women are given more of an opportunity to be evil in a lot of ways today. With the exception of very successful men. Very successful men are pretty much given a blank slate to do whatever they want, provided they don't go against, the agenda. If they go against the agenda, then whatever they did when they had that blank slate, then then the people who kept a record of Mr. Cosby, what a great man, he's a fine man, what a great example, what a role model, and then he goes off the reservation, Mr. Cosby does, and then it's like, oh well, you know what? Let's use this stuff that Cosby did when he was hanging around in the Playboy Mansion with Hugh and with Hef and the gang, and the sort of things that he liked to get into. Well, it's about time we expose Mr. Cosby, and then the next thing you know, that kind of news comes out. So, how did I get off on that tangent? I don't know. But I guess that, my point is that it might behoove you, and again, this is not me preaching that anyone should do what I'm talking about. If the broke boy life is not for you, then do your thing. I just don't think men should be shamed for choosing the broke boy life. And what do I mean by the broke boy life? I mean the kind of life where you find your passion. The broke boy that I have in mind is has some kind of artistic temperament, or some kind of something that he's good at, whether it's art, whether it's writing, whatever it may be. You work on that. You work on your craft. You hone your craft, and you do the best you can with it. But at the same time, you in order to get by, you find some job that that you do every now and then. Something that doesn't obligate you too much or too often. And something that's on the low stress side, and something that's not prestige, and something that's not like where it's like not like a thing where I'm highly ambitious, I want to get ahead. Where do I see myself in 10 years? Well, obviously I'll be CEO by then. The broke boy mentality is to just is to say no to all of that, and just get by. If you're going to live in your car or live in your tractor trailer or whatever, then then do it. I don't advise being homeless. I think that that going the homeless route, or like doing the thing where you pitch a tent on a sidewalk of Portland, or something like that, and just live off of I don't know. There's something to me that's irksome, even if you're avoiding all of the accoutrement that seem to accompany that lifestyle. In other words, even if you're not a fentanyl fiend, like it seems like most of those type of people are. You don't want to be a mooch. You don't want to. I mean, I guess there's something to be said when the system is so clearly wretched. Some might say, well, it's okay to bleed the beast, and to take welfare or whatever. But I'm not advising that, and I would not feel comfortable with that. I do think, but today there's so much that's stacked against you, and I'm speaking as an old man. But if I were a young man looking at the landscape today, I would just feel overwhelmed because there's so much that's stacked against you. Prices are higher than ever. How are you gonna, the American success story is to buy a house. Where are houses? Where can you get a house that's for cheap? Where can you find even a place that has cheap rent? I'm sure there are some places in the country where that's still the case, but the cost of living is just it's prohibitive right now. It's ridiculous right now, and it's gotten to be this way because they've made it this way. They've created the current set of circumstances in which we now live. And I'm not saying that in some schizo paranoid kind of way. I'm just saying it's nobody doubts that 50 years ago it was much easier to make a living. Wages, you didn't make as much wage wise, but the dollar was worth a ton more, and you could live. As long as you didn't have to live high on the hog, as long as you weren't big on living high on the hog, you could just get a simple job and live a simple life, and sort of opt out. But it's harder to do that today. So you might have to take more drastic measures. But I do think there needs to be a place. There needs to be a place among the. Do I call it the manosphere? I don't know. Among the dissident right, among the MGTOW and I don't know, the others, the red pill people. There's so to so many of them. There's so much of this emphasis on be single, be successful, stack that cash. Because that'll be how you can be independent, and then you'll be and never get married and never be in a serious relationship with a woman, and then you can be truly independent and free. I'm saying there should be a place for people, for men in particular. I think it's much harder to talk about women doing this kind of thing, living the kind of lifestyle that I'm talking about on their own. But if you're the type of man who just wants to hone your craft, who sees yourself as an artist of some kind, and that's your primary life's work, and you want to work on that and live simply, and I don't know. Live in a very in not very luxurious conditions, but also not break your back, not work ridiculous number of hours a week, and drive yourself to an early grave with all the stress, not work under some asshole boss. Bosses. I mean, here. I'm just going to say this right now, bosses. Y'all need to do better, because I've had a lot of bosses, and you all suck. I think almost every boss that I've had sucks, unless there's one that I'm not remembering. But they've all been a burden, a pain to work under, and maybe that says more about me than it does about them. I don't know. I am the one common denominator. This has gotten really rambling. Sorry about that. So I'll bring this whole rambling mess to a close here. If you think I've made some good points, though, let me know below. Or if you think I'm totally all wet, or if you think I'm just skitzed out and losing it, and I'm gonna start wandering down the street, mumbling to myself and with a smelling terrible and not making any sense, and just speaking in riddles. If that's what you think I'm becoming, then I guess you can tell me that too. I don't know. I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching this all the way to the end, for those of you who did. Talk to y'all soon.